Hey, beautiful friend. How are you?
I'm good, Kay. How are you today?
Good. I'm so excited we're doing our impromptu podcast recording this week. I hit you up, a couple of days ago
Yes,
to jump on.
2 days ago. Yes, it was perfect.
Don't you like the way we roll, Kat?
Oh, it's epic. It had nothing to do with a phone conversation. Then it turned into, hey, let's do a podcast.
We're so creative, like when our energies connect. You even mentioned it the other day. When our energies connect, it turns into this like creative, like everything's a creative project with us. Or
Absolutely.
do you feel that too?
Oh, I do. And every time I get off the phone with you, I'm like, oh, I can do this and add this, and we can have another workshop there. We just need more days in a week, I think.
Wow. So the last time we had a chat on my podcast feels like such a long time ago. So do you want to fill in our listeners with what has evolved for you since we chatted last time? Do you remember?
Oh, wow. I remember where I was when we had the podcast. I think
in your car.
In my car, on the side of Nicklin Way, real classy. I think we've had so many events in between. I think back then we've done the sound meditations, where now I've added the beginner singing bowl workshops. We're now doing manifesting with sound. We're doing level 2. I've done one-on-one workshops. I've had the most amazing one-on-one workshop this morning, which turned out to be a lady that's opening a retreat in Gympie. So there's another space, just putting it out there. And so much working on a workbook, working on doing my own chakra cards. It's just never ending. Like I said, I just need more time and more hours a day. It'll be amazing.
And for those listening, you do that in conjunction with running your cleaning business, VIP Wellness, here on the Sunshine Coast as well. So Kat knows what it's like to have a full schedule, and you're a single mum as well. So don't anybody tell me that you can't do it all, because Kat is a living, breathing example of this.
Yeah.
So tell me, with having your own cleaning business, what inspired you then to move into another space? Because those of us that are business owners understand what it takes to create and nurture and maintain a thriving business. And it takes quite a bit of effort, right?
Oh, absolutely. To be very honest, I love running a business, no matter what business it is. And I've always said I will not ever give up on my cleaning business, because it's amazing money. It gives me the flexibility of work school hours, take days off when I need to, when I want to be there for events for my kids, when I fancy a quick trip to wherever. But then I thought, it's obviously not what I'm meant to do. It's not what I felt completed with. I was like, I've always been drawn more into the spiritual side of it, but I had no idea what I wanted to do. And then sound came along. So that's when I was like, wow, okay, I can do this, and I can make it a business, and I can evolve it. I've got a big plan, as you know, there's always more. And so I've decided I can do this on the side till it becomes big enough. So my plan was, which has actually happened now, is to employ someone who can run my cleaning business for me, where I can work whenever I feel like it, while I bring up my other business, which it's gone so fast. So honestly, there is no, you can't do it. If you really want something, it doesn't matter what it is. It just happens. And your loved ones or friends or family, they all work around it with you, make it happen.
Where does your belief to be able to do this come from?
It's a hard one. I just know, if I set my heart to it, if I really want something, if I can see the vision that clear in my head, then it's just going to happen. There's never been any doubt. So I can't tell you where it comes from. It's just, I'll just do it, and it's going to happen. I think I bring up my kids the same way. It's like, you want to be in that soccer team for school? You're already in it. And they're like, but I haven't even done the trials yet. I'm like, you don't have to. If you believe you can do it, then the rest, just the universe guides you and how to do it.
Have you always been supported to think this way by your parents? I know your parents are out here from Germany staying with you at the moment. So is that something when you reflect on, you realise, oh, I was supported that way? Or is that something you believe was always innate in who you are?
Honestly, a lot of people call me crazy. They're like, you've got enough on your plate. Why would you do something else? It's not going to work. Especially when we're talking about things like spirituality or sound healing or things not everyone understands. They're like, you'll never make money with this. This is a waste of time. Do it as a hobby. I'm like, nah, actually, I can make this more. So no, I think support-wise, my parents are more old school in that way. My dad.
Oh, so they're the ones telling you you're crazy.
Part of it. They're more like, hey, can you just relax and sit on balcony or watch TV, watch a movie or something like normal people? When I'm in my head, I'm like, oh, but no. And if I really want something, it's stuck in my head till I do it. And it gets really frustrating if I don't act on those thoughts. So I think it's a lot of self-motivation. The kids motivate me a lot. I want my kids to grow up thinking, well, mom said we can do anything, and she did anything. So we can do the same thing.
We're so alike in that way, aren't we? You know, last night I was having a conversation with a friend, and we agreed to disagree on the outcome of the discussion, because it related to kind of like society's conditioning, and my viewpoint was, you know, we can do whatever we want. Why does society have to dictate what we wear, how we think?
Oh my God, yeah.
Where we go, you know, all those things just kind of rub me up the wrong way. And when I reflected on that later, I just thought, you know what, it doesn't matter. I don't have to convince anyone that that's not the way that I think. Whereas I used to do that. I know what I believe, and that's really all that matters. But it was a beautiful thing to reflect on, and to kind of be at peace with, oh, well, I know where I stand and I know how I feel. And then I had a discussion with my daughter about it, because it was in relation to her. And I was, it was so beautiful when she just said, Mama, I don't really care what other people think, and I don't really, you know, and I was just like doing a little happy dance, and just knowing that she felt comfortable in her own choices and what following her own guidance.
Yes.
You know, it's just gold, absolute gold, because that's what you and I are in the business of helping people to own, is trusting in their intuition and trusting in their guidance. And you know, people come to our sound healing events to connect with their intuition on a more deeper level. And then also we are welcoming people into this space who are there to, I just want to relax, guys. Like, my life is so full. I just want to lie down on a yoga mat, put a blanket on me, have a pillow under my head, and you do your thing. So we are attracting, right, a range of people, from those that are at the beginning of their spiritual journey or connecting with self, to healers and yoga teachers and school teachers and nurses. There's a bit of a theme, isn't there?
Yeah.
And those people who are caring for others in their lives. And, you know, and then those who are, I'm with you, Kat and Kay, I'm with you, I want more. You know, we're always looking for more, you and I. So how has that been for you, watching this evolve through all your events?
It's been absolutely incredible. One thing I'd like to add to you is what I absolutely love is that those that have been following us for a while actually bring their kids along now too. They're teenagers. We've had husbands there. It's been amazing. So it's a matter of, hey, I believe this works for me. Come along, guys, do it with me. And I find, especially seeing the singing bowl workshops I'm hosting, I get people that are actually up there that are ready to take that next step. They're like, I'm not going to do my corporate job anymore. I can do something else. So it's a lot of people that believe and that are just ready to do them, that just want to be them and don't care about what anyone else says either. And I think I love that. It's just brilliant.
So who are you nurturing in your singing bowl workshops. Right now you've got a level 1 singing bowl workshop, which is quite popular. And you host that at the moment at the farm in Caloundra.
Yeah.
And you had mentioned to me, I'm attracting people from all over the place. So it's not just local sunny coasters who are attending. 2 hours drive.
That's crazy.
Wow. And what's the feedback that you're receiving after hosting these?
Oh, it's incredible. Everyone just sits there and you can watch their faces. They're so entrained in what they're doing. And the feedback is just like, why haven't I done this before? I can't believe this works, because we go a lot into science on how it works to get the non-believers, the husbands and the kids, to be, okay, this is how it works. Or you can just go with is magic and it's amazing. So the feedback is just, it's incredible. Everyone has got such an amazing plan of what they want to do, or some are just using it as a stepping stone. So it's a lot of, I would say the majority of people I'm attracting are healers. And because there's not as much out there, like I said, they come from 2 hours away from little country towns they haven't even heard of. And yeah, it's just so grateful. It's just an amazing feeling to be able to help them.
It's a beautiful event to be able to come and add a skill set to what you're already doing in whatever role. I've got a girlfriend who's really interested in coming along to your workshop, so that she works with young children in community kindergarten, and this community kindergarten is wanting to adopt a more holistic approach.
Wow.
And are even looking at educating their parents, and I know I'm going to be involved in some capacity with mindset. And so it's really beautiful to see this becoming more mainstream, because we know we don't have to convince the children. The children already know. They already know, right? They have this inner knowing. And so they'll always be open to receiving in this beautiful way. And so it's wonderful to see people going, you know what, I can bring this into my workspace in some capacity, or I can bring this home and I can use it at home. You always mention to people when you're speaking to them about the benefits of actually sitting there for 15 minutes before you go to bed. See, I'm listening, Kat. And
very good.
And playing your sound bowls, because it actually helps you to relax. It's a great pre-sleep ritual to help you relax enough to go to sleep, and that is something that you do with your children.
Yeah.
I use it in my meditation ritual, and I'm intuitively guided. My family gifted me quite generously some crystal singing bowls for my birthday. And so they're in my healing room, and I will play them intuitively and just connect to the sound that feels right for me. For everybody, it's different.
Yeah. So
I might do it at the beginning to kind of set the tone for my meditation, and then go into meditation, whatever feels right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you've asked me to come and be a special guest in your intermediate crystal singing bowl workshop. So this is going to be pretty much nearly a full day event from 10 to 4. And this is going to be hosted at the farm. So do you want to let people know who are interested, or maybe thinking about it, or wanting to know more about it in detail, what exactly we are going to be doing on this day?
Absolutely. So the short version is it's going to build on the basic level. So ideally, we'd like people that have already played some singing bowls or have basic understanding, because we'll be going into a lot more information about the science behind it, a lot more information about sound in general, how it works. Even though we're always talking about playing intuitively, we're going into a structured sound bath, how we can incorporate other sound instruments, vocals, how we incorporate numerology, manifesting with sound. So it's going to be a massive, massive day. oh, Jesus, I've got a long list of everything we're going to include on the day, which is going to be on our website. But it's going to be, I think you'll be walking out of there knowing the basics of sound, knowing how it helps people, how you can help people with diseases. We've got a lot of people that are going into, or that are looking after kids with special needs or ADHD that are coming along. We've got people that are working as nurses on aged care. So I think we'll be basing things like that around it too, how it can help people. I would say that I am neat, but just in need of calming their mind.
And so is there any value coming if you've already done level 1? Like what's
100%. It's going to be a huge difference from level 1.
What's the difference, and what's the difference between the level 1 and then the level 2 for someone that's like, I've been to level 1, I feel good with what I know, like I'm good?
Yes. Level 1, we pretty much teach you the basic, how to play the balls and why they work. That's pretty much level 1. Level 2, it's going to give you how to run a sound bath, how to run a one-on-one sound healing, how to play a structured sound path, how you can play as 2 people for specific reasons, how you can incorporate your chakras into that, how you incorporate your manifesting into it, the different harmonics. We're going to go into binaural sounds, which we can incorporate in the middle of your sound bath. But in saying that, it does not have to be someone that wants to run a sound bath, just someone that wants to take the next level in their healing progress and helping others.
And then I'm going to be integrating the sound component with the energetics of what I do for a living as an energy healer, and bringing my knowledge and experience in manifesting mindset with numerology, all the ologies, and
the ologies.
all the ologies, maybe some psychometry, and showing you how you can bring basically what you already know, because many of our sound healers have a background in spirituality already. So how you can then integrate that with what you already know and all the ologies, and create a much more high vibrational, because when tool, activity, workshop, whatever it is that you are there for, because when we layer all the, and my hands, if you're watching on YouTube, my hands are just doing like a wavy. I believe when you layer the different individual modalities, no matter what it is, whether it's sound healing, meditation, whether you're out in nature, whether you're exercising with music on, I'm a really big believer in when you layer them together somehow, whether you're doing them at the same time, meditating to sound, dancing to music, exercising with your headphones on, listening to a podcast.
Absolutely.
I really believe that it opens up our energetic portal to our connection to the divine so much more.
Oh, it absolutely does.
And to explain that in layman's terms, if you're doing one thing, that's great, and it makes sense, right? But if you're doing 2 things, that's a little bit better. You're doing 3, 4, 5 things, and you're doing them all at the same time, it even raises your vibration even more. And so we're going to show you how to do that. So I guess an example of that is we could be, so in our sound meditation circles, so we've got a Twilight one coming up on the 21st of May. That's our first Twilight event. So for all our events, you can head to my website, soultosellwellness.com.au, or Kat's website, VOP Wellness sunshinecoast.biz, and we will add the links. And you can look at whatever events you're drawn to. You can come to all of them if you want to too.
You should.
And so in our Twilight Meditation circle, we layer crystal singing bowls with sound gongs, and then the spirit drum, and my voice, and the sounds of nature, which are just such a beautiful addition to our event. And is that four modalities interweaved? Oh, and the fifth one, the horses that are at that location. So you can layer as much or as little as you want. And you can do that in your sound event. So level 2 is going to give you that opportunity. Perhaps you're going to have ideas dropping in, because we're so intuitive that anything that's dropping in that space, and it will, and guests will have ideas. What about this? And what about this? And, you know, we get to play with all that. And you've got some new instruments too that you are going to be introducing.
Yes.
And our beautiful
arrived yesterday.
And the beautiful guests will be receiving a gift, won't they? So that's going to be incredible.
Absolutely. Can't come quick enough.
So if you just want like a taste of what Kat and I are creating right now, our foundation event is our meditation circle, where you can come for an hour and a half and just lay on a yoga mat and close your eyes and just receive the beautiful healing that we are sending to you as a group. It's a really, really special. We create a beautiful altar with crystals and the bowls, and that holds the energy for our beautiful circle. We have recently added to that the ability for our guests to write down the names of anyone in their lives who they want to also send healing to. So in our circle, we actually hold space for that. So I think that to me is so exciting that we can actually include people remotely to receive.
Everyone loves it.
Yes, yeah, we all get into it. And then you can pick a card for yourself and receive a message before the healing begins. And then you just lay there and enjoy it. So it's a really, really relaxed, really gentle way to kind of have a sneak peek of what we are doing in our community at the moment. And then we are also going to be collaborating on a beautiful event with Morning Light Studios at Batinia. And this is the next step, guys. This is the next step if you want to take it to another level, is manifesting with sound. So manifesting consciously and on purpose to create the life that you desire, to call in your dreams, which Kat is doing in real life, and using both our healing abilities. We are going to be holding space for a group to do this on the 10th of June. So it's going to be 6 to 8 p.m. at Morning Light Studios in Batinia, if you're on the Sunshine Coast. It's going to be amazing. Yes. We're both doing this individually in our lives, and we were like, what if we could bring people together to do it as a group? Like, that would be mind-blowing. And then to see the proof in people's lives. That's the part that I like the best is afterwards, and people then saying, oh my God, I created this. Oh my God, I created that. You and I are not surprised, because we understand that our thoughts create our reality, and manifesting with sound is going to use the same foundations of layering modalities to actually, but I will guide you to create. I will guide you in a safe and sacred space to create what it is that you want, because manifesting is all about using our heart as a magnet and raising our vibration so that we can energetically match the thing or experience that we're wanting to call into our life. That's all it is. And so if we can do that, you are going to call it in.
It's so simple. Once you start doing it, it'll just keep happening.
Well, it starts with focusing on what you want. And this is what I notice in my coaching practice is when we focus on what it is that we actually want, that is the first step to just own that decision of, you know what, I want that. And even if you feel like you can't have it, you can just reframe it and say, well, how could I have it? you know, everybody talks about you've got to be confident enough to call in what you want. I beg to differ, because I look back on my life at the dreams that I have called into my life, and I can tell you I was not confident.
Yeah.
And yet I still call it in. I think if you call it in with confidence, it's maybe a much more fulfilling experience. That I agree with. And yes, we aspire to call things in feeling confident. I'm yet to believe that we have to be able to do it that way.
There's a lot of different ways, isn't there?
I think there's a lot of steps to get to that point. And I know that, well, I just want to give it a go. That's the way I look at it. Like, you know, like creating a business, there's a lot of fear that goes into creating a business, right? Can I do this? There's a lot of things. It doesn't mean, like, we're creating it, you and I, and we still got a lot of self-talk that's coming in here that maybe is picking at us going, are you sure? And it's really just that choice to decide that you're going to call in whatever it is that you want to call in. And then you just take your fear, put it in a backpack, put it on your back.
Put it in the fire.
Just go, just take it with you. Just go, hey, I'm gonna show you how it's done, guys. So if you are an excitable person like us and you want to have a play and explore what you can actually call into your life, then come along on the 10th. So I reckon it would be a good idea to actually tell people what we have personally called into our life, because it can be a very woo-woo concept, right? So what have you used manifesting for in your life to call in the experiences that you want to live?
Where do I start? Anything from where I live. I've just, I'm in the process of building a house, which I thought, geez, as a single mom with one income, no one's even going to look at me for finance. And I'm like, well, no, it's going to happen. I have called in a puppy, which we're getting next week, which is pretty much huge wait list at the moment everywhere. I'm like, no, I want it now. It's going to happen. So that happened. Obviously, the new business is something as simple as I knew how my cleaning van is going to look like, where everyone's like, what do you want doesn't exist. I'm like, it does. So it's loads of car parks. We do it every time we go shopping. I'm manifesting the car parks. I get actually my kids to manifest the car park now. It doesn't have to be anything big. It can be as simple as, I've got such a busy week, I'm manifesting time to get a massage. It can be so simple. It's my son's soccer trials, that he gets into the soccer team he wants to. The favorites, anything.
So you manifest for your kids too? You manifest for your kids?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, list is endless. I could come up with so many different, they don't always turn out the way I want it. To give you an example, I've always said I want to be doing resin art. It's been a passion of mine for so long. I've never done it. I'm like, I want to do it. Now I'm starting with acrylics. It's not the same, but it's different. I'm like, oh, this is my step forward. I've wasted so much money on paint. If I would have done that with resin, I'd be bankrupt. I'm like, this is good. So as long as you ask for it, you'll get it, but it might come in unexpected or different ways. And as long as you see that, life is incredible.
Are you going to host a painting workshop with sound?
I actually thought about that the other day.
Sip and paint whilst you immerse yourself in sound.
Paint, listen and manifest. Yeah.
That would be amazing.
It'd be so good. We need a good space. I'm not sure the farm would be happy with us using all the paint on their floor.
What are you manifesting now? What are you calling in now? So they're the things you've called in, and you've called them in and they're happening or they've happened. What are you calling in now?
At the moment, the next step would be workbooks and online workshops, and stepping back even further from my cleaning business, and that we're moving into our new house soon.
Very beautiful, because I think it's really important to kind of own our ideas, and when we speak that out into the universe, life life listens to what we're asking for, right? So that's really, really special. And that's something that I offer in my dream journeying program. For anyone that's not familiar with that, it's a one-on-one 3-month journeying program into manifesting and actually connecting to your soul's guidance to give you direction. And it is just wild. It's wild what you can call in and what you can connect to with your own guidance. So I'm going to share a little bit about what I've manifested, and the reason I'm going to share some of my earlier stories in my life is because I called these in, so like unconsciously and not being spiritual at all. So I want to show you that we actually are all manifesting all the time, and we have the power with manifesting consciously is we're actually consciously and intently calling in what we want. So we can also call in the things that we don't want, and it's all depends on what you're focusing on. Does that make sense?
Oh, yes, it does.
So for me, when I was younger, if I'm talking about manifesting unconsciously, I just had this desire to be an amazing soccer player. I loved playing soccer as a young person in primary school. And I just think my love for that just created opportunities to come my way. And because when I look back on my career, it was like the stepping stones were put in front of me. I didn't even have to go looking for them. I just loved kicking a ball and I loved playing and I had some talent. And so when these opportunities came, it was like, sure, okay, I'll go and have a go at that. And then that then led to another opportunity, and to the level that, you know, I got to play at quite a high level here in Australia. And then I discovered, oh, wow, there's like state teams and national teams, and you can play in these competitions too. And then I made it a goal of mine to play at the highest level that I could in Australia. And here's the thing, looking back on that goal, and I did, right? I did. I played at the highest level in Australia for 15 years, from about the age of 12 to the age of 26. But I wish I had known to dream bigger, because in that time, some of my teammates then started playing internationally, which was quite new when I was playing. And then, so some of them had contracts to play overseas, in Japan, in the US. Then some of my friends went off to uni for uni scholarships. And I really do wish that I was encouraged to dream even bigger than what I did dream. Yeah. I had the opportunity to train with the very first Sydney Olympic squad in Canberra, and I was in the larger squad. So they chose an AIS squad and then extra players, and that was my first introduction to senior football with the national team. And I look back now and realise that my goal was always to be at that level, but I never dreamed bigger than that. And so when I look back, I actually called it all in, but I never called in having a long career at that senior level. Does that make sense? Because we call in exactly what we ask for. And I look back now and go, oh, the reason I didn't stay in that space for a long time was because I didn't call that in. I just called in making it at that level.
Yes. And then
isn't that interesting? It's so interesting. And so then when I retired, I moved on, and then my next big dream was to call in a soulmate. And this story I've shared on the podcast before. And so that was when I was kind of heading into my personal development journey seriously, I would say. And a girlfriend and I, we were doing this 52-week book. This book had 52-week action plan to stand up for your life, right? So we did this. And amongst that, I wrote a list of character traits and things that I wanted in a soulmate. And when you're 26, 27, you want different things than when you're 49, right? I wanted a boy who was grown up and not a mummy's boy. I wanted them to have their own career, to aspire to be something in life. Like, it was things like that. And I remember telling my mum at the time, because my mum was a bit concerned that I didn't have a property. I was in my mid-20s. I think she thought I was going to be a spinster. And I remember saying to her, don't worry, Mum. The guy I end up with, he'll already have property. I don't need to have property.
Yeah.
And he did. And, which I'm really grateful for. And so when I met my husband, I remember looking back and finding the list, and he ticked off every single item on that list, Kat. Every single item. And that is when I woke up to the fact that we create our lives on purpose.
Incredible.
That was my proof that, oh my gosh, Kay, you have called this in. I don't know how you've called it in, because I didn't understand that.
You did.
But I got exactly what I asked for. And I joked with him all the time. I needed to add more things to that list.
Yeah. If you would have known back then.
If all I can say, and I do say this to my clients all the time, is keep adding to your list. If you think of more things, you can start off with general concepts and then just keep adding. Just don't be so fixated on it. Like, get on with your life and live your life knowing that that's your vision. Don't every day look at it and go, when is it going to come? Because there's a certain element of letting life do its thing and letting life help to bring that to you. And sometimes that takes some time.
It does. And especially if you're manifesting a few things and some things just come as a priority. So that comes first. And I think it's so hard not to get frustrated, because then you get that negative mindset of, oh, it's not going to happen. It doesn't work. And that's where you start back from basic.
If you don't think it's going to work, you need to give me a call, because I will prove to you how it can work. Because then Charles and I went on together, and this is where I think the power of manifesting together, like in the collaborations that we do, and especially with my husband in our life together, and often people will go, oh, you don't want people to think that you need him to collaborate. And I'm like, it's not about needing. I know the power of what we can create together. Yeah. We've been able to invest in properties, buy multiple properties, and we have this philosophy of, we make decisions to keep adding value to our life. So we never move sideways, we never move backwards, we always move up or forward. Yeah. And that has worked so well for us as a foundation. And, we started in a small 64 square unit that he owned, and we slowly just went to moved up with properties. And then he also had a dream of working in his own business, and the first step for us was moving to Brisbane, and he actually went into partnership, collaboration, went into partnership and did amazing in that space. And from that, we now have our own business, S2S Floors, and that is doing amazing in itself, especially through COVID. We just owned the fact that, and manifested that we would still thrive through that. And we have. And, so I've seen what we've created, and I manifested my children. You can. And now I realize and that was big things, but now I use it on a day-to-day basis. So if I'm going into a meeting and I want to manifest the outcome of that meeting, I will create an intention around that. A conversation, I manifest the outcomes of my podcast recording, my interviews. We can use it in every element of our life. And if you find affirmations hard to do, or you don't feel like you align with that, then why not create positive affirmations around the tasks, everything that you have to do in your day before you do something. Just say, what do I want my intention to be? What could it possibly look like? How could this? And you watch what happens.
Magic.
It's absolute gold.
Yeah.
As you can see, I'm passionate about manifesting.
Just a little.
I just want to really show people that you really can just live a life you actually want to experience for yourself.
Even
with the self-doubt, you can still make it happen.
Absolutely.
So I'll give you a little example of a friend before we say goodbye. So she wanted to book a family holiday, and she said, but we don't have the money. And I said to her, sometimes you've got to show life that you're serious about what you want, and you have to take the other step. I said, go and book it. And she said, what do you mean? And I said, go and book the holiday and watch what happens. She went and booked the holiday, and I think the following week, they somehow $10,000 came into their life. And she goes, oh, I've got the money for the holiday now. And I said, see, we don't always have to wait for money to come into our lives. We can still make our plans.
I got to super quickly share this. I've got an awesome example that's very similar. I was always like, I don't need more money. I've got enough. Everything is enough. And then nothing more kept coming in.
Yes.
So I'm like, okay, hang on. That is not really what I wanted either. So I was like, all right, let's change this. So I was saying every morning with affirmation, not I'm rich, but something like that. And you know what happened? The first 3 days of doing that daily, number one, I dropped my kids off at school. I found $5 on school grounds at my feet. And I'm like, school grounds, kids would be jumping on that $5 note, but it was with me. And then I got a payback from ATO, Centrelink, some tax-related $1,000 refund, which I had no idea what it was for. So once you set your mind to it, it just
life just makes it happen. And you mentioned your kids, and it's such a powerful subliminal message to actually guide our kids with. I tell my kids they're money-making machines. They're manifesting magicians. Oh, you're such a powerful manifester. And that then goes into their subconscious. I can manifest whatever I want. Then when they come to me and go, Mum, but I really want to do this, all I say to them is, well, you can manifest that for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're a manifesting magician. Go and do it.
Yeah.
And they know to go use the power of their mind to call in whatever it. I mean, the amount of things I've noticed my girls calling in to their lives is incredible. My youngest daughter wanted to be eldest daughter, sports captain. At school, she didn't play sport. And she wanted to be one of the house captains. And my husband said to me, she's born on the 22nd, so that number is a manifesting number in numerology. And my husband said, she's a dancer. How is she going to become sports captain? I said, she's a manifesting magician. You watch. And she became house captain. So it really is just have a go.
Absolutely.
I always say to people, use the words, I wonder if that could happen. I wonder because that's another way of manifesting. I wonder if I could buy a new house. I wonder if that type of car is available for me. I wonder how my kids will go at school. I wonder if I can call in that soulmate relationship. It's a beautiful, and then at the end of it, add and more.
And more.
So that life can give you more than what you can ever dream for yourself. Because I believe that life can dream more for us than what we can dream for us.
Because we limit ourselves with our thoughts of what we could. So there's so much more out there.
Yeah. So add and more. Like we're thinking of what we want to manifest. What if it could be even bigger than that? I mean, we know
more than 2 hours for our manifesting with sound workshop.
Abundance already exists, right?
Yeah.
Everything already exists. If you find an example of what already exists in life, you may not be connected to it. It can exist. So we're not billionaires, right? But we know that billionaires exist in the world. So that energy already exists. And it's, if we want that for ourselves, and that's another conversation in itself, because you want to be calling in what your heart wants to call in, not do it for the sake of it.
Yeah.
We can connect to that energy. If you want to connect to the energy, that love exists, right? And romantic love exists. If you want to connect to that, it's about connecting to it. and then calling it in. So understanding that it already exists in the universe, and how do I connect to that? So I wonder how I can connect to the energy of eating healthily. I wonder how I can connect to the energy of feeling good. I wonder how I can connect to the energy of having amazing soul sisters in my life. I wonder. And it just changes your energy saying that, doesn't it? Because it's like, it's a daydreaming vibe.
Yes, it does. And it brings positivity in your thought patterns too.
So if anyone listening today, go and play with that phrase, I wonder.
Yes.
And then add and more on the end of it. And then reach out to Kat and me and let us know what you're calling in, because you will be calling it in. And if you want to keep track of what you're calling in, write it down in a journal. So then you've got proof of what it is that you are manifesting. And I promise you, you will want to manifest consciously for the rest of your life.
Yeah, you do. Once you start and you find out how much you can do, like, why haven't I done this before?
So for anybody listening today, if you are keen to explore Kat's one-on-one healings, you can reach out to her. She's on Instagram and Facebook as well, VIP Wellness, Sunshine Coast. Is there anything else that you're creating at the moment, Kat, that you want to share?
Nothing ready. I'll be very soon introducing our chakra cards, which are going to go with the singable, hopefully for maybe the expo that we're going to an expo on the 22nd of May in Caloundra West.
Beautiful.
Details will follow.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I'm so glad we got to chat.
Me too.
And I will see you soon.
See you soon. Bye.